Hello everyone, SethTheProgrammer here, and today we're going to be talking about the Uchiha clan, and we're going to be ranking them from weakest to strongest. This will be the main Uchiha clan members. There obviously are a few in filler and in the data books that you could go over. However, a lot of them are mainly featless, and it is really hard and contentious to scale them. Some honorable mentions obviously would be Shin Uchiha from Boruto. The problem with Shin is that Shin has some really edgy scaling with Sasuke or Renegon Sasuke as an adult, because you could argue he has a certain percentage of his chakra left and that he scales to the Kage, and the Kage could fight Momoshiki, and I really just don't want to get into that with this video. I want to keep as a little opinions out of it. You could also talk about Izuna Uchiha as well, and it's how hard it is to scale him because he's equal to Tobirama during the feudal age, at least in the data books, and during the feudal age you could argue Tobirama was simply weaker and he got unquantifiably stronger when he became Hokage. Obviously he beat Izuna when he first discovered the flying Raijin, so he couldn't have been at his prime. So it's like, okay, well, how much stronger did Tobirama get? Really unquantifiable, right? Some people will also say Izuna was equal to MS Madara. However, those are mistranslations, and it does not coincide with the data book very well, since the data book states Tobirama and Izuna were equals, and that Tobirama was the right hand of Hashirama, and Hashirama was actually losing to Madara in the battle Izuna died in. A lot of people don't actually know that, but Hashirama was gasping for air in that battle, and Madara was not even remotely tired. And there's also the Uchiha who haven't shown feats, but they're very popular due to statements like Hikaku Uchiha, who in the data book was stated to be the most talented in his clan during the feudal age of Madara and Izuna. And then you have Kagami Uchiha, who was the grandfather of Shisui, who is very unknown, but I will talk about him a little bit at the end of the video. So after we go over the main list, which will be mainly factually based, right, then we'll go over the more opinionated side characters per se. Every list needs a real basis to kind of build off of, and I think the best basis I could come up with would be number 6 as Fugaku Uchiha, the father of Sasuke and Itachi, who's one of the few Uchiha to own the Mangekyo Sharingan, was the chief of the Uchiha clan, was a plausible Hokage candidate in the time of Orochimaru in Minato, and was even confirmed to be strong enough to have him in a terrible matchup for Itachi in the novels when he slayed the Uchiha clan and first obtained his Mangekyo Sharingan. It's even hinted Fugaku had the power to control the Nine Tails at one point and could have used it in the coup if he wanted to after ripping it out of Naruto's body. He's a pretty powerful benchmark Uchiha and laid the foundation for the clan in an age where they were feared as the strongest clan in Konoha. However, he unfortunately doesn't have any crazy feats or anything else to really put him higher on this list, and we know very little about his maximum capabilities, so we'll just place him at number 6. Number 5 would have to be Shisui himself. This may make people actually heated because some people think Shisui's like a god tier Uchiha, and he's very beloved, and I understand, but I'll explain my reasoning for other people being above him later. For this, there are a few statements from OVAs in the manga that suggest Shisui is one of the most talented people in the Uchiha clan, to Danzo stating he's the strongest Uchiha in OVAs, to Itachi later on saying he was the greatest Genjutsu user at the time. This, along with his Susanoo and his insane body flicker speed that made him famous around the world, puts him above the likes of Fugaku, at least from a raw feats and lore standpoint, with absolutely no evidence suggesting Fugaku would be stronger other than his chief position, which could be more so a trust and lineage kind of thing, or simply an experience thing. Number 4 for me, logically, is definitely Itachi Uchiha. I put him above Shisui because in the OVAs it was suggested that Itachi was actually able to cop wins on Shisui here and there, and that Shisui only ever really beat Itachi when something was weighing heavily on his mind. This is further supported by the fact that Shisui is around on par with Danzo without his Susanoo, with Itachi, while reanimated and weakened, able to fight hand-to-hand versus KCM1 Naruto with only the Sharingan, with even Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke being able to grab a few kills on a constantly regenerating and much stronger Sharingan arm Danzo that was spamming Izanagi during the 5 Kage Summit, with Shisui being caught off guard and almost beaten by a Danzo using a single Izanagi in one OVA, and then also with Itachi being able to be a match and even save EMS Sasuke from Sage Mode Kabuto numerous times. EMS Sasuke would then go on to fight by a much stronger KCM Naruto later down the line. Itachi also has an insanely high IQ and skill with Genjutsu and even owns the Izanami as well. He also has the spirit weapons such as the Totsuka Blade and Yada Mirror that have insane stats compared to even other Susanoo that give him a massive advantage even over opponents who are more physically based, such as Orochimaru's Hydra transformation, allowing him to defeat a lot of them with little difficulty. His Mangekyo abilities were enough to scare Naruto and even slapped the white-haired Nagato and burned his arms off with Amaterasu when he was on guard and prepared for it as well. And honestly, he's basically the main staple of the Uchiha for a lot of people in Naruto, so it makes sense that he would be on the middle of the list, as obviously he doesn't scale to the end of the series, which had crazy power cliffing, but he should be above a lot of the other Uchiha from the earlier arcs or ages of Naruto. Number 3 will have to be Obito. Obito being above Itachi is definitely a debatable topic in and of itself. However, this is not Obito with just the orange mask or even with just the Rinnegan or swirly Zetsu Obito. This would be Obito end of series or Obito as the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, since we are talking about the strongest Uchiha, and we'd obviously be talking about their strongest states or forms. And of course, the raw power of the 10 Tails is astronomically higher than anything Itachi could really handle on his own, with a healthier, reanimated Itachi needing help from Naruto and B to even handle a multi-gigatons of force and beyond Shibaku Tensei from Nagato, let alone a Tengai Shinsei or a multi-continental Bijou Bomb from the Jubi. Obito, even after the 10 Tails disappeared from him, absorbed and stole chakra from Six Paths Madara, and even absorbed Six Paths into himself even without being a Jinchuriki. Even post-death, he was able to grant Six Paths chakra to Kakashi from the afterlife, and with both Sharingan, his Kamui, and physical prowess, he would be ridiculous as shown with even Kakashi with these abilities could throw down with Kaguya for a brief moment, although mainly only with hacks. Of course, it's hard to say Itachi would be stronger than 10 Tails Obito. Also, Itachi's Genjutsu shouldn't work on Obito either, since Obito has a relative to superior dojutsu. It should also be noted that Obito may in fact have superior Genjutsu to Itachi. Here comes the dislikes for that one, but Obito is able to cast a Kodo Amatsukami like Genjutsu over Yagura without anybody really noticing for years, as well as the fact that he was possibly taught the Tsukuyomi by Madara. He showed this in Road to Ninja, as well as the fact that he kind of needs to know it for the infinite Tsukuyomi. Obito without the 10 Tails or Six Paths amps is definitely its own argument. However, it should more than likely go in Obito's favor due to his raw feats versus KCM2 Naruto and the Shinobi Alliance, alongside his underestimated Genjutsu abilities, raw combat experience, as well as the reanimation technique, although I won't really grandstand anything for this video since it's not really relevant. We're only talking about the Six Paths or 10 Tails variants. Sasuke with the Rinnegan post Hagoromo should be highly above Obito at this stage. He was strong enough to fight Rinnegan Madara Six Paths. He was stated to have far more Six Paths chakra than Obito by Minato, and even with the God Tree absorbed after this, Sasuke could run and chop it in half with seemingly little effort. With his teleportation and far superior stats alongside ability to read Six Paths character like a book as Madara suggested, Sasuke would be able to handle anybody previously on this list with little effort. Even Obito's Kamui spam would do him no better than it did versus Madara, with Madara constantly bullying him and Kakashi simply trying to teleport away before Madara even absorbed the God Tree. With Sasuke's simple Susanoo arrows being strong enough to overpower or stalemate true-seeking orbs and attacks, not to mention the fact that full power Jubi Obito can't actually use Kamui for whatever reason, even though Madara could. Speaking of Madara, Three-Eyed Madara will have to be number 1 for me. While Sasuke got a fuck ton stronger by this final battle with Naruto and getting bullied around by Kaguya, it definitely didn't give him any abilities or power-ups that Madara himself still couldn't handle. This would have been different if, say, Sasuke was out there slapping away tons of Six Paths Naruto shadow clones or something, but for the most part, Naruto only ever fought Sasuke with shadow clones while on base, and the only time he used Six Paths shadow clones was after Sasuke absorbed all of the tailed beasts. So even if you could make a good argument for Naruto holding his own versus Madara with shadow clones, or an argument for Kaguya winning, extremely hard to even remotely contemplate an argument for Sasuke winning at this stage. His Rinnegan is incomplete, he can't absorb and attack at the same time, he can't travel between space times, and his attack potency even with Chidori isn't even enough to draw blood from Six Paths Naruto, who just double Rinnegan Madara could swap hands with. I don't want to just sit here and shit on Sasuke, that isn't my intention. The intention is more so to draw attention to just how overpowered Madara is in comparison to him. Madara also has insane amounts of wood release attacks it clones, along with casual limbos, and more than likely superior power and speed that simply put Sasuke at a disadvantage. There's also always the argument that Madara could eventually put in work with his third eye, albeit that's questionable, and even removing Sasuke from the battlefield entirely if he did do it. Sasuke can maybe handle a few true-seeking attacks from Madara. However, unlike Naruto, Madara can respawn these orbs, and Sasuke would have zero opportunity to be able to take all the tailed beasts from Madara in this situation. You could argue, okay, Seth, well, we're talking about the strongest forms of them, so shouldn't we be talking about the tailed beast absorb Sasuke? And if you want to go there, then Sasuke definitely has the chance to be number 1. However, I looked at this more like a temporary amp to Sasuke's power. It did not seem permanent, as it went away right after he shot his strongest jutsu, blah blah blah. But if you want to consider that, then it is possible he could be number 1, but it's also important to realize that even if Madara got hit by an Indra's arrow, that it is possible that if really any part of him survived, or if he somehow absorbs it, blah blah blah, then it's not going to go in Sasuke's favor. So I would say Madara is more than likely higher, but Indra's arrow Sasuke could be above Madara just in raw power if you really want to go there, and I'm not going to take that away from Sasuke. So it is a little bit contentious in that area, but if we're taking away the tail beast Susanoo, it definitely goes to Madara with no doubt about it. So other than that, it's simply unavoidable that Madara is the strongest Uchiha with no amps, obviously, or no like temporary amp. And even if we took away all the crazy 6 paths and 10 tails abilities for everyone, I'd argue the list would still be in the same order. Said maybe Obito if you took his Rinnegan and dual Mangekyous away, and you might be able to argue EMS Sasuke could not beat Rinnegan Obito and his reanimation jutsu, because obviously KCM Naruto was making EMS Sasuke shit himself at that time, and not even KCM Naruto could really actually take out Obito. Orochimaru did, however, hint that Sasuke would more than likely be the one to surpass Madara, and I just so happen to have a video on adult Sasuke versus Madara down in the description below, so see for yourself if Sasuke closed that massive gap between he and the other 6 paths characters for yourself. Otherwise, now that we're kind of off of that topic, if I were to give Izuna the benefit of the doubt for this list, I'd put him more so around Itachi's placing, give or take, since the gap between Itachi and 10 Tails Obito is honestly just that massive, with Shisui's ancestor Kagami being around him and possibly superior to Shisui himself, as Shisui declares he's inferior to him actually, and Danzo mentions he had his life saved by him numerous times in his youth, with Shisui struggling with a much older and no Sharingan arm Danzo. It is possible, however, Shisui is just being respectful, and that Danzo got stronger over time, as well as the fact that just because someone saves you here or there on a team doesn't mean they are individually stronger than you are in a 1v1. Hikaku is likely lower than Itachi and would be below Izuna, since Hikaku is only stated the most talented, not the most powerful or fully developed Uchiha, especially considering Madara was a rival for Hashirama at the time Hikaku was alive, and Hashirama was considered the strongest in the shinobi world. As well as most talented doesn't mean most powerful. Obviously, Itachi was far more talented than Sasuke, you know, age for age at the start. It doesn't necessarily mean that Itachi would always be more powerful than Sasuke. Shin Uchiha is absolutely ridiculous, and I left him off the video for a reason, as he's more so scales to possibly a 10 through 20% adult Sasuke in power, since Sasuke almost had enough chakra to teleport by the end of his battle with Shin, and Sasuke's teleportations take around 33% plus of his chakra, since he can only teleport twice before he gets tired or can't do it anymore. You may be able to argue Sasuke was even weaker since he couldn't use his Susanoo, but he could still use his Rinnegan abilities like swapping Shin and his clones and you know, fireballs and so on, and Shin was very confident in dealing with Naruto and Sasuke. Otherwise, I'm not going to make a full comment where I'd put Shin, and I'll leave that up to you all since Boruto scaling is fucking ridiculous. But if you would like to learn more, that adult Sasuke video is always available. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep Boruto out of here if possible. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and till next time.